Okay. Hello, everybody. Touch the leg. Actually, today there's nothing much. I can do the revision. So still, I will try to explain something. And please, everybody, feel free to ask question. Any question is okay. Please, don't feel bad about asking this question and that question. So please feel free. You can ask any question. At the beginning, I think His Holiness gave very important advice, mainly for the Indonesian, because those people who attend this morning teaching from Indonesia, I think most of them live in Indonesia. So Indonesia is a Muslim country. So for them, know how to live together with different religion, different culture, different language. Because all religions teach us love, compassion, contentment, and patience. Those are the common teaching taught by different religious masters, head of the religions. And at the end, His Holiness said, there's no way we can have one religion for entire human, because at the Buddha lifetime, Buddha also taught different teaching for different people. Therefore, if somebody thinks, we must have one religion for whole entire human, it is impossible. Then he moved into mainly about Buddhist, the non-Buddhist like a Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Jewish, they believe in one refuge, only the God, the Creator. So we Buddhists, we need three refuges, right? Three jewels. So this is very important to know, because many Buddhists, they think the meaning of Buddha and the meaning of the God are same. It is not. As a Buddhist, why we need to rely on three refuge? Because we are seeking liberation. We are seeking Buddhahood. So in order to achieve them, we need a guide or teacher who has a experience about nirvana, who has a knowledge about nirvana and Buddhahood. Therefore, Buddha Shakyamuni, include all the Buddhas, are, teacher for us. None of them be a God. Therefore, all the Buddhas among the three refuge, Buddha we always consider as a perfect teacher, experienced teacher. If we just believe into Buddha, have a pure faith towards Buddha is not enough. For example, when you are sick, we need to see a doctor who has a knowledge about the medicine, sickness, who has an experience how to cure for the sickness and disease. So just meeting a doctor, believing in doctor, not enough, not sufficient to cure our sickness. Second, we need a medicine to cure our sickness or disease. We can get the right medicine through the prescription from the doctor. The prescriptions like teachings. So we must believe in Buddha. Second, we must receive a teachings, the prescription. So just receiving prescription is not enough. Second, we need to buy the medicine. So we need to study, we need to listen the teaching, we need to study the teaching, then actually we need to know the perfect meaning of the Dharma. So once you bought the medicine, it's not sufficient to cure your sickness. Second, so you really need to take the medicine for every day, continuously, until you fully cured. Same, so we need to practice the Dharma based on knowing how to practice, what to practice, how long we should practice. Then finally, after you have taken the medicine for a long time, then you've completely cured. You're completely free from the sickness. You are free from the sickness because of mainly the medicine. Yes, we need a doctor, we need prescription, but actual sickness cured by the medicine. The medicine is most important for curing our sickness. So the Dharma, it look like actual medicine. Yes, we have a doctor, we got the prescription, we have the medicine, and sometimes we confuse which medicine we must take in the morning, after breakfast, before breakfast, empty stomach, before lunch, before dinner. Sometimes we totally confused, how to take, when we should take the medicine. Therefore, we need a nurse, right? Therefore, the Sangha, the Sanghas look like nurse, helper, how to take the medicine. Then, when we were sick, when we were admitted in hospital, the nurse always around us. We can see the nurse when you need it. But the doctor comes maybe sometime, not all the time. Therefore, all the Sanghas look like nurse is available everywhere. So in order to fully, in order to free from the serious illness and sickness, we need perfect doctor who has a knowledge, who has experience. Same, in order to free us from suffering, we need perfect teacher, which is all the Buddhas. Second, we need medicine. Also, we need the Dharma. Dharma has two meanings. One is the verses, the words, the sound of the Dharma, actual dharma is the meaning is the dharma. Then nurse in all the sanghas look like a nurse. Therefore, in order to free from sickness, we need a perfect doctor, unmistaken prescription, unmistaken medicine, and please don't forget when we're sick, sometimes we need to take the medicine for a few years. If you take only a few months and stop, then we cannot be free from the sickness. Therefore, the Dharma practice, we have to practice since today until we completely free from suffering, until we achieve liberation in Buddhahood. Therefore, so Holiness very much emphasize about why we need to rely on, or we need to take refuge to Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. This analogy, doctor, medicine, nurse, this analogy taught by Maitreya Buddha. Then, why it is so important to rely on Sangha? Sangha. Because this moment, we are very ordinary being, ordinary person. We don't have enough merit, enough positive karma to see Buddha, to receive teaching from Buddha. But we have enough karma to see the perfect teacher like a Sangha. Therefore, among the three jewels, so first we need to find a teacher who has a perfect knowledge of Dharma. So therefore, all the Indian master in the past and present, also this, all over the world, there are so many Sangha who has some knowledge in Dharma. Those are considered as a Sangha. And also, many people has a little mistake about the Sangha. They thought Sangha have to be full ordained monks and nuns. Not necessarily. The person, the actual Sangha within the three jewels, the practitioner who reached to the seeing path, whether monks or lay person, we can consider he or she is a Sangha because he already reached to accomplish the seeing path, became already, be a Arya. Then through study of Dharma, then we need to control our physical body, the verbal and mind. So among the three training, the physical training, the verbal training, the mental training, we must most importantly focus to train our mind, control our mind. The physical training is very easy. Without controlling the mind, there's no much point to control your physical action, verbal action. So among the three, we really need to control our mind, train our mind, transform our mind. How we can transform, how we can control? Through study. Therefore, first, you read a books, Dharma books, or you listen teaching from the audio or video. Actually, then you really need to, receive the teaching from, actual person who has a Dharma knowledge. First, listening. When you listen the teaching, what the teacher said, you should do this, you should not do that. You should not just accept it. You think it is necessary or not. It is important or not. If you think it is not necessary, it is not important, then you ask question to the teacher. Make sure all your doubts clarify the teacher. Listening, then think again and again. Finally, you need to know the actual meaning. For example, practicing bodhicitta, first you need to listen, teaching from someone. What does mean bodhicitta? Why it is so important to practice bodhicitta? How I should practice bodhicitta? You need to get the proper information. When you have, the perfect information, then you need to familiar with the bodhicitta. You need to cultivate in your mind, within yourself. You cultivate the bodhicitta for many years. Then you can accomplish the bodhicitta. Therefore, many people said, I practice Dharma for few months, few years. I cannot change. I cannot see the transformation. I cannot see the changings. It is not easy to have the result, to have the transformation of practicing teaching. It takes time, because this is maybe the first time in our whole life. Since, since there's no such a sin, being in samsara, maybe this is the first time we received the teaching, we got the information how to control our negative thoughts. Therefore, not easy to control, but we must put effort. Then, therefore, if you cannot see the transformation of practicing Dharma for 1 month, then slowly, maybe you can see within 1 year. Even though you cannot see any changes, any transformation about your mind, the mental transformation, still you should not think, I cannot see the transformation. Maybe within a few years, then you can feel it yourself. Oh, compared with 2 years before me and now I'm more happy, more easy to control the negative thoughts, more easy to have a compassion towards all sentient beings, all human beings. This is very big, inner transformation. Therefore, then he should start, based on, his own experience. Then His Holiness introduce us, tell us how we should start our, day. So this is, I think, very a common practice among all Tibetan monks. When they woke up, first they need to think, I'm so lucky, I'm still alive. Since now, I'm not going to waste my time, my energy, I will practice Dharma. I will practice bodhicitta for becoming Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Therefore, the day starts with the cultivation bodhicitta. Then after you cultivate the bodhicitta, according to your time, maybe 10, 20 minutes, or maybe just 5 minutes, then you need to reflect on emptiness. Then you can have 2 benefits. Since morning you already cultivate bodhicitta, your mind became very compassionate. When you see annoying person, you cannot get angry. Instead of getting angry, you can have a compassion. due to the influence of the cultivation bodhicitta. Second benefit of meditating on emptiness. Since morning, at the beginning of your day, you think about, you reflect on emptiness, how things are exist. Things are exist from, depending on causes and condition. Then, we have a conception, we have a concept about good and bad. Nothing exists from it on. Then, when you see beautiful object, you can have a less attachment, desire. When you see ugly object, unpleasant, object, in unpleasant things, you cannot get angry, upset. Because for you, the ugly and beautiful, both nature is same. Therefore, it is so important to start our day with the practicing bodhicitta and reflect on emptiness. Then I think many of you already know how to cultivate bodhicitta. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa said, all the Mahayana practice, Mahayana teaching, rooted by compassion. Compassion. Without compassion, you really cannot generate, you cannot cultivate bodhicitta. So when you generate compassion, you already realized, you already accepted all sentient beings like your dearest mother, your dearest friends, your dearest brother and sister. So this is important how to start our day. Now I will go through the three principal aspects of the path. Three principal aspects. In Tibetan we saw lam. Lam means path. So means principle. Sum means three. Lamtso, namsum. This is principle. The renunciation, bodhicitta, the emptiness. These three things, these three parts is a principle, it's look like heart. When you practice the Bodhisattva paths, these three things must be there. When you practice the Tantrayana path, Tantrayan path, the Vajrayan path, these three things must be there as a three pillars, like a heart. If you're missing one of them while you are practicing Sutrayana, then the Sutrayan cannot be very complete. When you're missing one of them, when you practice the Vajrayan, the practice of Vajrayan cannot be very complete. Therefore, principle. Why? Without renunciation, our Dharma practice cannot be actual, pure Dharma practice because our practice contaminated by attachment, ego, desire. When you have a pure renunciation, you don't have a sense of attachment with the worldly things. Therefore, renunciation is so important to transform your practice as a pure Dharma. Therefore, Mini Sahyaba Master says, without renunciation, you should not think you are practicing Dharma. Then bodhicitta. Without practicing bodhicitta, you cannot be Mahayana, actual Mahayana practitioner. Yes, you can say, I follow the Mahayana path. I follow the Mahayana tradition. Actually, you should not consider I am, the Mahayana or, Bodhisattva being. Therefore, without bodhicitta, the practice, the path cannot be Bodhisattva path. Because it depends on bodhicitta, whether your practice is a Bodhisattva path or non-Bodhisattva path. It depends on bodhicitta. Therefore, it is principle in the Bodhisattva path. Then emptiness. So emptiness is very important practice for the people who wish to achieve liberation, the practitioner who wish to achieve Buddhahood. Both of them must need to practice emptiness. Therefore, the renunciation, the bodhicitta, the emptiness, practice of emptiness, we call principle. Therefore, the first paragraph, I shall explain here to the best of my ability. First is a homage to most venerable teacher. Teacher referred to here the Manjushri. Because Lama Tsongkhapa received so many teaching, so many instruction from Manjushri. When I say, Lama Tsongkhapa received teaching from Manjushri, received instruction from Manjushri, it doesn't mean the teaching, didn't teach by Buddha. Yes, Buddha already taught all the teachings. Then Manjushri carries the teaching for many, many years. So when Lama Tsongkhapa has a doubt, problems to understand, then he asks this question to Manjushri. Then Manjushri answer. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa received so many teachings from Manjushri. Therefore, homage to the most venerable teacher. Then first line, the essential point of all the scripture of the Concord. It explains the renunciation. The path accumulated by the excellent Bodhisattva. It explains the bodhicitta. The gateway for the fortunate ones inspired for liberation is explain the emptiness. This is the first paragraph is explain the renunciation, bodhicitta, emptiness very condensedly. The next is the same. First, a purpose. Second, how to practice. Then third, how we know, how I know I have a bodhicitta, how I know, how we know I have a renunciation. That means the purpose, actual practicing, then the kind of estimate. I will use a very simple way. Therefore, look at the first sentence. Second paragraph is explain us how we should listen teaching. So this explain, the purity. Listen very carefully and with a pure motivation, without having any distraction. Do you remember the three forces of the, like a pot? If the pot put upside down, the water, whatever, never go in. Therefore, we have to listen the teaching with the focusfully. We need to teaching. We need to listen or receive the teaching with a forgetful mind, not the pot put upside down. Second, yes, you put the pot in the proper way, you can see the water going in, or water, juice, whatever going in it. But the pot, the cup has a lot of stain, not clear, not clean. Then you cannot drink the water, juice, whatever, because it's become very impure. Yes, you put the pot, in the proper way, and the pot is very clear with the proper motivation. If the pot has a hole, the waters go in, you cannot stay there. Therefore, proper motivation and concentration and without forgetfulness. Therefore, those who are not attached to the joy of sacred existence. So, why, what kind of person should listen this teaching? The Bodhisattva teaching. Those who are not attached to the joy of sacred existence. So we always attach to the joy of sacred existence. We have an attachment with our sleeping. We have an attachment with our eating, drinking, playing, just our mind totally attached with the samsaric pleasant, samsaric joy. Therefore, we are not that perfect, like a person to listen this teaching. In order to be perfect person to listen this teaching, we need to reduce the attachment to the joy of sacred existence. Second, who strive to make meaningful this life of leisure and opportunity. Third, and who place their trust in the path that please the conqueror. The fortune one, listen with an open heart. So what kind of motivation we must have? I want to achieve liberation. I want to be free from samsara. I want to get something like a liberation or Buddhahood in this lifetime. Then, practice the bodhicitta. Then, the number 3, so why we need to practice renunciation, the purpose. Without pure renunciation, there's no mean to pacify the yearning for joy and fruit of samsaric ocean. Right? We have a strong attachment. We have very sense of joy with the samsara and fruit of the samsara. So without renunciation, we cannot really reduce the joy and fruits of the samsaric ocean. This is samsara is Sanskrit, right? Samsara is Sanskrit. In English, they call cyclic existence. It just go around. And the samsara is look like ocean. Ocean is so big. Without like a boat, without having something, you really cannot cross the ocean. Ocean is so big. Samsara is so huge. And ocean has a very deep. So the samsara is very deep. When you drown in the samsara, in the ocean, it's not easy to get out. Therefore, right now, we are totally drowning in the samsara, not easy to get out of samsara. Therefore, samsara is look like ocean. And as craving for the existence shun us thoroughly, a first search for truth renunciation. Therefore, before we really enter into the Bodhisattva path, or hearer or solitary realizer path, first we need to cultivate, we need to accomplish renunciation. Without renunciation, our mind always attached with the samsara. That means attached with the samsara, the renunciation is not like, it's opposite. Means so far we have an attachment with the samsaric things, we never have a renunciation. When we have renunciation, we won't have any more attachment with the samsara. Once, we really have a detachment with the samsara.
Yes, come before.
Hello?
I like to listen to his class. 我哋今日係講佢愛你。
Okay. Therefore, look at the paths. We have to move step by steps. First, renunciation. Without renunciation, we really cannot enter into any paths. Therefore, the purpose of cultivation, renunciation is the third number 3. Then yes, let's say now I realize renunciation is very important. Without renunciation, I cannot really move on the path to liberation, path to the Buddhahood. Now there's a question: how I should, practice, how I should cultivate renunciation. Then number 4 is how to cultivate renunciation. By cultivating in our mind, and this human life is so hard to find. First, we need to realize this human life is so difficult, so hard to find. Right? That means you need to realize love is so important. It's a very, very, very rare, so difficult to have. Then somebody may thought, why it is so difficult to have the human life? Then it's difficult. In order to achieve human life, the person must practice pure ethical discipline, pure vows. It is so difficult to have very pure ethical discipline. Therefore, due to the cause, is so difficult to find. Due to the numbers, if you compare the number of human and other sentient beings in these planets, we have a number of human beings. It's 7 or 7 billion. Maybe more than 7 billion living beings live in TBC, this house. So if you compare the number, the human being number is a very little. Therefore, by cultivating in mind that this human life is so hard to find, yes, has no time to spare, preoccupation with this life will cease. Number 4, right? Number 4. So, once you realize the human life is so difficult to find, then what happened after I died? After we died, right? So, if you believe in next life, the next life go into higher realms and lower realms. It depends on the karma. So, if you really wish to born in the higher realms, then you have to follow the dharma perfectly. Then you won't spend your time with a very simple samsaric activity. You fully focus practicing dharma. That means how to reduce attachment about this life. The second line, by contemplating repeatedly the truth of the karma and samsaric suffering, preoccupation with the next life will come cease. Right? When you realize this human life is so important, so difficult to find, easy to lose. That means you're able to reduce the attachment about this lifetime. Then when you meditate on the karma and the samsara, then you're able to reduce the attachment about next life and samsara. Therefore, by contemplating repeatedly the truth of the karma and the samsaric sufferings, then preoccupations with next life will come to cease. That means the attachment, the excessive attachment going to reduce, going to stop. Then number 5, let's say you have been practicing this path. Then how I know I have a renunciation now? The next number 5, as you habituate in this way, and when not even an instinct of admiration arises for the prosperities of sacred existence, and when the thoughts aspire for liberation arise day and night, and this point, true renunciation has arisen. So after you practice the renunciation for many days, many years, finally you don't have any sense of admiration about samsara. When you look at the food, no more attachment, no more desire. Still must sure we have to eat the food. When you look at around the place where you live, when you look at your car, your friends, everything, you're totally free, from attachment. That means this is the indication you generate the pure renunciation, not just, become very detached. In the other hand, then you always thinking day and night, wish to achieve liberation. That means you need to feel, I am not happy at all any samsaras in the desire realms, formless realm. You need to see everywhere, everything is look like, like sufferings. Then on the other hand, I really need to, be free from the samsara. That means liberation. Therefore, at this point, truth renunciation has arisen. So first, the purpose. The second is how to cultivate. The number 5 is the, kind of the measurement. For example, when you measure like a rice, like a kilo, then you can add something, you can see, the salt go down. When you take little bit go up, you have to put in the right arrow. Therefore, when you have this kind of thoughts, this means you have very unmistaken renunciation, pure renunciation. Then number 4, why we need to practice. Number 6. Number 6 again, what is the purpose of practicing bodhicitta? Sentence number 6, the purpose of practicing bodhicitta. Number 7, how to practice bodhicitta. Number 8, kind of the measurement, the unmistaken kind of sign. Number 6, such as renunciation true, it is not sustained or imbued by a pure awakening mind. You will not become cause for the perfect bliss of the unexcelled enlightenment. Therefore, O intelligent ones, generate the excellent awakening mind. So if you have already accomplished renunciation, not bodhicitta, then all our practice cannot be actual cause to achieve Buddhahood. Buddhahood, right? Therefore, you can see such as renunciation too, if it is not sustaining compound with the bodhicitta, without really imbued by bodhicitta, by pure awakening mind, it will not become a cause of perfect bliss, of unexcelled enlightenment. Therefore, we need to practice bodhicitta. If somebody asks why you need to practice renunciation, we must say, I need to reduce my attachment with the samsari things. Why we need to practice bodhicitta? Without practicing bodhicitta, I cannot be Buddha, I cannot achieve Buddhahood. All my practice cannot be cause to achieve Buddhahood. This is purpose. Now, how to practice the bodhicitta? Therefore, His Holiness said, this sentence, His Holiness always, recite after the sentence number 3. So he bring this sentence number 7, recite after the sentence number 3. So how to practice bodhicitta? They are being swept away constantly by 4 powerful rivers. Now he will remember rivers, 4 powerful rivers. They are bound tightly with the fetters of the karma and most difficult to escape. They are trapped inside the aeon mesh for the self-grasping. They are enveloped from the everywhere by thick mess of ignorance. When you think about this analogy, you feel so scared. You really feel, feel scary. Because 4 powerful rivers. Then we are totally tied, tied feeder, tied with what? Karma, most difficult to escape. Let's say I wish to escape samsara. You cannot, because the karma always totally tied in samsara. So you need to cut the karma. So how I really, bound in the samsara? Then look at here. They are trapped inside the aeon mesh of the self-grasping. That means you are totally tied by a rope, like karma. Then you put inside a kind of, like a container, like iron container. If the container is like cloth, made of cloth, very easy to, tear, easy to break. If the container is iron, you are inside, not easy to break the container. So we are totally trapped inside the iron mesh of the self-grasping. The self-grasping is look like iron container. The karma is look like, rope, tie you in the samsara. Then you are in the rivers, constantly moving. Karma, due to the karma, ignorance, you are totally, moving in the samsara continuously, like 4 rivers. Rivers of the attachment, river of attachment, rivers of ignorance, rivers of the rivers of the samsara, river of attachment, rivers of the ignorance, rivers of the samsara, river of the wrong view. Those are, 4 rivers. So if somebody asks, how you practice how you practice bodhicitta, then you need to recite, this sentence. Number 7. Also number 8, in first, how we are in samsara is mainly introduce us how to cultivate renunciation, how to realize the truth of suffering. Then number 8, how to cultivate bodhicitta, great compassion and bodhicitta. So I hope you remember here, this sentence you can apply for generating renunciation. Also you can apply for generating bodhicitta. When you apply it your own, with your own reality, then you can cultivate renunciation. When you think this situation on others, then you can cultivate compassion. For example, you and other, somebody has a same sickness. You have one of the serious cancer. Other person has a same kind of cancer. When you think your, sickness, you wish, we wish to free from this sickness, this kind of renunciation. When you think the cancer sickness on other, then you wish other people, be happy. So this can be applied for cultivating renunciation, for cultivation bodhicitta. Number 8. Therefore, the last sentence, I think you need to change. For example, please generate the supreme awakening, by reflecting on all your mother who suffers such as condition, please generate supreme awakening mind. So let me remember this one. Number 8. Tormented by these 3 suffering, by reflecting on all mother, that you can cultivate bodhicitta. Reflecting on me, then please generate renunciation. Reflecting on all your mother who suffers such a condition, then generate bodhicitta. So this you can apply, either bodhicitta or renunciation. Then number 9, why we need to realize emptiness? Why we need to meditate on emptiness? If you do not have the wisdom, releasing the ultimate truth, even if you gain familiarity with renunciation and awakening mind, you will not be able to cut the root of the samsaric existence. So, stuck in this means of realizing dependent origination. So, why we need to practice emptiness? Then you say, yes, even though I have a bodhicitta renunciation, without realize emptiness, I cannot cut the root of samsara. Therefore, I need to realize emptiness. Is the purpose of realizing emptiness. Here, I think who already attend my class in TBC, those of I hope you remember. There's a dangers to have a misunderstanding about meditation. In Tibetan, we say, meditate on emptiness, meditate on impermanence. We say on. We never say meditate on compassion, meditate on love, bodhicitta. We say cultivate bodhicitta, cultivate great compassion, cultivate great love. Then meditate on emptiness, meditate on impermanence. There's a big difference. When you meditate on emptiness, that time emptiness became like object of the meditative mind, object. Then the mind just, this is the emptiness, this is the mind just absorb, just, concentrate the emptiness, just hold the emptiness as an object of the mind without moving. There's an object and subject. When you meditate, when you cultivate bodhicitta, yes, all sentient being can be object. Actually, when you meditate bodhicitta, your mind need to transform as a bodhicitta mind. Your mind have to transform as a compassion mind. That means there's an analogy in Tibetan language. You have a piece of iron like a steel. Before you put the steel in the fire, you can see this piece of become not fire. When you hit the steel or iron in the fire for 10-20 minutes, then the iron transforms as a fire. That time you cannot see the iron and the fire is separate. The iron itself became a piece of fire, transformed into fire. Therefore, when you practice compassion, love, tolerance, your minds must transform as a love and compassion. That time, compassion never became subject. Then you meditate on compassion. Therefore, we call the emptiness, Four Noble Truth. You meditate on those as an object. Compassion, love, the four immeasurable practices, you have to meditate as a mind transformed into them. So this, I think, very important. If you haven't attended any TBC class, maybe this is very important. So number 9 is the purpose, the reason why we need to realize emptiness. If you do not have the wisdom, realizing the ultimate truth, emptiness, even if you gain familiarity with the renunciation and awakening mind, you will not be able to cut the root of the samsaric existence. So that means, therefore, stuff in the means of realizing dependent origination. So here is already explained very clearly. Actually, Lama Tsongkhapa could say to stuff in the meaning of realizing emptiness, realizing selflessness. But Lama Tsongkhapa says realizing dependent originations. There's a many reasonings. First, reason important one, Lama Tsongkhapa, when he realized emptiness, I think he realized emptiness based on knowing the actual meaning of the dependent origination. Therefore, say, realizing dependent origination. Reason number 2. So, when you reflect on the dependent origination, when your mind reflect on the dependent origination, you must remember things are empty of inherent existence. When you reflect your mind on the empty of inherent existence, you must remember things are arise from dependently. So dependent origination, emptiness has a very important links. Otherwise, when you reflect on emptiness, many people think there's nothing. Then you are fall into one extreme. Therefore, Lama Tsongkhapa makes sure you must understand emptiness based on knowing, realizing the dependent origination. That means how to realize emptiness, why we need to realize emptiness. Number 10. Number 10, right? So, how we know I realized emptiness. This is number 10. Number 10 is so difficult to understand the meaning. When with respect to all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, you see the cause and effect never deceive their laws. And when you have dismantled the focus on objectification, at that point, you have entered the path that pleased the Buddha. So what does mean here? When with respect to all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, you see cause and effect never deceive in their laws. Once you try to understand emptiness, sometimes you think there's no samsara, there's no nirvana. That means your understanding of emptiness is wrong. Wrong. Also, when you think about emptiness, then you can get some kind of experience about emptiness. Then you thinking, oh, there's no cause and effect. That means your understanding of emptiness is totally wrong. Once you think about when you think about emptiness, you need to realize, yes, within the emptiness, there's a samsara, there's a nirvana, there's a cause, there's an effect. I can establish nirvana, I can establish samsara, I can establish cause and effect within the emptiness. Then if you have this kind of understanding, that means you realize your understanding of emptiness is quite correct. Right? So if you do not have, when the respect to all phenomena of samsara and nirvana, you see the cause and effect nirvana never deceive their laws. And when you have the dismantle the focus of objectification. So dismantle means, let's say, I think I give you a very simple example. You are, somewhere, and somebody what do you call? Oh, somebody produce magician like a thing which is you really like, or you really like an iPhone. You don't have an iPhone. You really like iPhone. Then somebody, produce a magician iPhone in front of you. Say, hey, I'll give you iPhone. How do you feel? You feel so happy. You think it's a real iPhone. You feel so happy. then the person tells it is not actual iPhone. It is a magician phone. That means the previous you have a thoughts about phone is totally disappear. The object cannot see as a iPhone. Right now, when we look at around us, you can see everything is real there. When you realize emptiness, it looks like you are just living within the illusion. There's not such a, you can believe this is exists independently, inherently. If you don't have any thoughts about inherent existence, independent existence, that means you totally dismantle the focus of objectification. So here, two meaning very important. When you neglect or when you deny the negation, inherent existence, when you negate the inherent existence, you're able to establish that things exist. When you able to establish, able to accept things are there, also you must able to deny the truly existent phenomena. Also, when you deny the truly existent phenomena, make sure your understanding should not go the meaning of nothingness. When you establish the phenomena, any kind of phenomena, when you try to accept, try to establish, make sure you should not establish the truly existent phenomena. You need to learn, you need to learn, you are living within the illusion or delusion. So if you have this kind of experience, that means you have a quite good understanding of emptiness. Because next sentence, 11, as long as the true understanding, that means appearance which is undeceiving dependent originations, and emptiness devoid of all this remains separate, so long you have not realized the intent of the sage. Right? That means true truth. Appearance means conventional truth. Emptiness, ultimate truth. You need to establish the true truth without having in distance. You can establish the conventional truth. Also, you able to establish emptiness. When you try to accept emptiness, if you're not able to establish conventional truth, that means you don't understand, the meaning of emptiness. Okay, so this is, I think, revision class about the three principles of the path. So I think I will tell a little bit about related to the question. I think one of the venerable, look like from Malaysia, he asked a question. Related to this sentence. As so long the true understanding of appearance, which is undeceiving dependent origination, and emptiness devoid. However, number 12, however, at some point when, without alternation, but at one, this intense, you see the dependent origination is undeceiving. If the inner object of grasping, I think this one, right? Oh, I think, no. I think number 13. Furthermore, when appearance display extreme, number 13. I think somebody asked question related to the number 13. Furthermore, when appearance dispel the extreme of existence, right? Appearance dispel the extreme of existence. And when emptiness dispels the extreme of non-existent. So according to Madhyamaka Pasangika school, appearance, when you accept appearance, then you need to dispel the extreme of existence. When emptiness dispels the extreme of non-existent. Yes, so first you need to know the two extreme of existence, extreme of non-existent. The appearance, ultimate truth, dispel the first extreme, emptiness dispel the second extreme. Then he said, how come, some other text mention is another way. That means appearance dispel the non-existent. Emptiness dispel the extreme of existence. He asked this question. It's a very important question. Except the Pasangika, rest of the philosophical school, proponent says, appearance dispel the non. Let me think out here. Appearance dispel the non-existent. Emptiness dispel the extent of existence. These are, except the Pasangika, all the philosophical proponents said this way. The consequence, the Pasangika is totally opposite. So because things, appear to us, for example, the house. When the house appears to us, this house exists. How exists? Exists due to causes and condition. Exists dependently. So when you say dependently exist, means those are not non-existent. Second, when you try to understand emptiness, then when you understand emptiness, the meaning not nothingness. It is not inherently existent. Empty of inherent existence means it's still there. Therefore, this is a very unique, one of the uniqueness according to the Pasangika. This I think difficult to understand. Then, and one of the person asked about the set and the 5 aggregates. So this one, if I have time, so I will explain. I don't think we have a time. So is there any question?
Yes, Geshe, we have quite a number of questions, and unfortunately we may not have time to address them all. So first question is from the Chinese channel's students. I'll try to translate, but please I apologize if I didn't translate it correctly. 昨日尊者提到，现今大家面对的疫情是世界倒数进入成住坏空的坏。我们应该尽量准备投身净土，在这世界入灭前投身到净土。可否请葛西就这点开示如何准备 ？Yesterday, His Holiness mentions with the current pandemic condition, given indications that we are counting down to the integration stage. The becoming, abiding, disintegration, voidness. So we are entering into the disintegration stage. And before we enter to voidness, we should start prepared to be born in Pure Land. So the student would like to seek Geshe-la's guidance on how to make such preparations. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Yes, he should answer. I think the boy from Hong Kong, he asked this question. I remember. Yes, actually, the pandemic problem, somehow we able to control, or many people will lose their life. In the future, we will have a more serious sickness. Is no doubt about. Definitely we will have. Then also look at the global warming. Everywhere, the global warming is increasing very rapidly. Like I was born in Ladakh, in part of Himalaya. When I was 10 years old, 9-10 years old, every winter we have a more than 5 or 6 feet snow in the village. So we have a big glacier everywhere. And nowadays, or this last year or day before last year or before last year, all part of Himalaya has a very little snow. All the glaciers melt very rapidly. Lot of water problems. When we think this way, look like somehow the global warming. Nobody can control. Finally, I think we have water problems. Weather becomes so hot, then all the forests, going to dry. No more water. Then we have a lot of big drought. We don't know how long, human will survive on the planet. We don't know. Somehow, again, let's say about the war. In the past, the soldier, they kill each other by knife, stone. Now, then slowly use gun. Now we have a very scary, very powerful weapon, nuclear weapon. If somebody drop few weapons all over the world will be end within few hours. It's very scary moment we are in. So preparation is very important. Before we pass away, before we leave this world, we must have an inner peace. Therefore, what we think, yes, I cannot control the global warming. I cannot control the pandemic problem. I cannot control the economic problem. I cannot. Just accept what it is. Try to be happy. Try to control your emotions. This life. For the next life, I said many times in TBC, we always pray to born in, again, a human life. We wish to born again as a human. If I ask you this question to all of you, we should born in human. As everybody say yes, where you want to born. This world, after 10 years, 20 years, the world become more worse and worse. Therefore, what he said, we try to, we must try to born in pure land. So this is the only, I think, the short-term option, best option, born in pure land. The pure land not part of this world. So how we should, can we born there or not? Yes, we believe we can be born there. There are few practices very important. Of course, renunciation, bodhicitta, maybe empty not that important. Then within the practicing renunciation, bodhicitta, then you need to visualize, like a Sukhavati, you visualize Amida Buddha, you visualize, Thara, then you can be born in the Thara pure land, you can be born in the Amitabha pure land. So if we really wish to born in the higher realms, the best, let's say, born in the pure land is the best. There's a different practice. commonly, great compassion, bodhicitta, and then maintain the vows, recite the mantra, then we can be born in pure land. Thank you so much, all of you, to attend the revision class. And I know many people attend this in yesterday, day before. Everybody follow Buddha Dharma. Everybody try to be friend each other. And thank you so much. And physically healthy, mentally happy. Be happy. And thank you so much.